We're running it back. We were here yesterday, 11 o'clock today, 11:30. A little bit of a shorter slate. Just 4 games. It was 6. 2 of those 6 games disappeared because of weather. Miami Mets, that game was canceled, and Cincinnati and Philadelphia was canceled. We do have our very first Coors slate of the year. Just a 4-gamer. That's the only game. It's after 2:10. I believe it's 4:10 is the official time as far as the main slate. Myself and Blender, returning champion Blender. I guess we're both returning champions, right? Back on this slate, invading your time slot, Blender. Typically at this point, you're diving into deep strategies as far as baseball and looking at the results, DB, and all that kind of good stuff. And hey, we can talk about that stuff as well. Sure, by all means. It's a 4-gamer. We got a lot of time to fill. We're here for the next hour until we yield to the Crunch Time crew. Today, it's TJ Zwarych. I see him in chat as well. He's all fired up about today's day slate. You got DerekCarty, the CEO of the Bat and the Blitz. He'll be joining the show. And, of course, Kevin Roth, chief meteorologist. If anything precipitation-wise pops up, is lurking, he'll be on top of it to let y'all know what's going on. Blender, how are things in your world? We have a 4-gamer. I think you're a great person to talk to for this slate specifically. In general, you're a great person to talk to. But in addition to that, Blender, this because it's very clear what you're what's most likely to happen, right? But that's not what we're trying to do, is trying to figure out what's most likely to happen. I feel like this is a really, really good slate to get goofy and get ugly and just make some really gross lineups. If you're willing to lose. And I know you're willing to lose, because the one time you win, it makes up for all those losses and then some. We haven't discussed anything as far as the slate. I'm curious, Blender, what's your thoughts here as far as this 4-gamer?
Well, yesterday, I just want to just toot my own horn. Not my own horn, the Bat's horn on Eduardo Rodriguez under 17.5 pitching outs.
Yes.
That worked out pretty well. I mean, especially when he throws like 23 pitches in the 4th inning or 5th inning or something. So I hope you're on board on Prize Picks for that. So props did well yesterday. I broke even in DFS because Wander Franco had to do so much better at shortstop than, because I didn't play the Rays. I mean, in GPP I wasn't playing the Rays, so they did well enough, especially at the scarce positions. So I kind of broke even. But talking about goofy, how come it feels like either I'm really big or you're really small? It feels like I'm talking down to right. So
I'm not looking at the screen. Let's see.
Overseeing. Like you're just like oh, I'm going to scrunch down to the bottom of the screen, and it's like me. I'm just like this floating head.
You got that? You ever see Colin Cowherd stage? Like he's like above his guests. I feel like that's like a power move. Like for some reason, his desk is like 2 feet above everybody. I don't watch the Colin Cowherd show. It's just something I've seen before on Twitter, but that's kind of what it feels like right now. I'm like one of his guests, and you're talking over me. And I'm not one to toot my own horn either, Blender. But yesterday on this very show, I called my shot and I said I'm gonna win the 121 on DK. I didn't win it, but I got 5th. And, second was like a 0.5 points away. It was so congested. It was so close.
Did you play the Braves?
I did not. I had a couple Braves. No, it was a St. Louis stack, actually.
Okay.
Which you'd think, how did that work out? But I had 2 Rays, and then producer Devin's in chat. Producer Devin, close your ears. I made a lineup, Blender, and you close your ears too, but somehow hear me at the same time. I made a lineup. I constructed a lineup in 2023 where I didn't actually have a 5-man stack. I know that's sacrilegious. You're not allowed to do that. And you get made fun of such things if you happen to win anything for that. I think it was like 4-2-2, maybe, or maybe 4-2-1-1. I think it was 4-2-1-1. In the 121.
All the constructions are fine. Just obviously correlation matters a lot in MLB. So the more you correlate, the more boost your players get to each other. And I'm fine with the 4-2-1-1. Fine, go for it. Have fun. I mean, I just built straight 5-3s because I'm just like, it's just easier to do. But I mean, I think that's perfectly fine. I played last in the 121. I played Pirates 5-man and a Braves 3-man, and cashed. I mean, I think I did. I mean, I think I 3x my money or something because my 3-man Braves had Matt Olson in it. So like that would
help. Yeah. I had a 3-man Rays track. It was 4-3-1. That's what it was. I had 3 Rays, and I had Wander Franco. It was 49% owned, which speaks to how that contest goes. Like typically, if you tell me he's gonna be 49% owned, I'm probably not rostering him. I don't think it would be that congested. Arozarena was 58%. This is the 121 single entry.
Right. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. Right. That's why what you came in fifth. You could have came in first if you played someone else other than Arozarena.
If I had a half a point more, I would have got second. But it was so congested.
Right. Well, there you go. See, with 58% of the field is sharing the same points as you. Congratulations.
Look again, I think you're willing to play, and it'll bring up a good conversation for today, because I tried to have this conversation yesterday as far as how scarce second base is, how gross second base is these days on a 4-gamer, and just the DK and Fanduel did not get the memo or the full memo on the game being in cores. The cores prices are goofy. Prices really don't matter today, right? Just kind of the way you're building your lineups. But Ryan McMahon is going to get an incredible amount of ownership, especially in sync. He's going to be like 70% owned in this contest. And like the problem is you can't just say, well, I'm not going to play a 70% owned player in baseball because, the game is built on failure. And there's a really good chance I don't necessarily need this guy. But okay, now look at the second base pool and tell me who to pick that's actually going to do well and do something and maybe beat Ryan McMahon.
You're telling me I can't play Romy Gonzalez? You have something wrong with Romy Gonzalez and Michael Massey?
I mean, they're not look, they are professionally trained to swing a piece of wood, and they'll have 3 or 4 chances, maybe 5 chances to do so and get some fantasy points. But, there's no confidence behind that. But again, maybe just nobody does anything at second base. But just sort of an interesting conversation as far as McMahon specifically. Somebody's calling me right now, and it's connected to my ear. I'm not used to this now with the earbud. What's a 931 area code? Where is that?
You this early in the morning?
I don't know. People know I'm normally sleeping at this point. The people that actually know me, not normally, but I'm like an hour up. I wake up around 10:15, give or take. I think you're an early riser, right?
I don't even know where you are. You travel around the country. You live in places for 4 months at a time. I have no idea where you are.
I'm on the lam, man. I'm on the run. Yeah, I gotta always stay one step ahead for sure. But who's the rest of the second baseman you're throwing out there? Yeah, that's an interesting place to start as far as and by the way, what's up, chat? Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications, do all those things. Feel free to join the conversation. We encourage that, please. Whatever we're talking about, tell us we're wrong, tell us we're right. Change the conversation. Why aren't you talking about so and so? What's the deal with this?
We can probably talk about everyone on the slate. It's only 4 games.
Yeah, well, do you want to? Do you want to dedicate 3 minutes?
Do you really not want to break down the splits of Ryan Kreidler, who I didn't know was a person until I literally just looked right now. Apparently, he's batting 9th for the Tigers.
Could you pick him out of a lineup?
Plate IQ with Ryan Kreidler and see that does he hit Chris Sale well in Detroit today?
Well, what's the BVP of Kreidler versus Sale? I'm sure they belong.
I'm assuming he barely has any bats. I've never heard of this dude.
I don't think I know who he is either. I pride myself on knowing basically every single player. Speaking of BVP, the BVP truthers might be out today because Matt Chapman has got, I think, 4 or 5 home runs against Jordan Lyles in his career, 20 at-bats or so. So there you go. Shout out to him. And Miguel Cabrera's got a long history of facing Chris Sale, but it turns out both those guys they're a little different than they've been in years past. Is that fair to say?
I think Sale's better than Miggy.
Yeah. I think this is the last year of Miggy's contract, and 23rd, whatever it is, it's backloaded. So he's getting plenty of money. Matt Chapman is not in cores today, Shannon. Matt Chapman is in Kansas City. We should mention that, by the way, as far as weather. The weather is not great anywhere. We're talking about 50 degrees in Detroit, 50 degrees in Chicago, 50 in KC. And as far as Colorado, it's going to be cool as well. Looks like there's a crosswind. I want to see what we have as far as weather. It's a 10.5 total is a pretty high total for 2 bad offenses, but it's also Josiah Gray versus Kyle Freeland. Josiah Gray gives up 2.3 homers per 9 last year, specific to lefties, and that's kind of specific to the Ryan McMahon conversation. 3.3 homers versus lefties, which is that's a lot. That's a lot of home runs, man. And Josiah Gray, obviously uber prospect at one point. He was in the was he in the Trey Turner deal? I think he was in the Trey Turner deal, right? Or which deal am I mixing up?
Talking to me? What?
Yeah,
talking
you don't care.
Me? Last week, I didn't even know what players were on what teams. I accidentally said DeGrom was pitching for the Mets, and I knew he was on the Rangers.
By the way, DeGrom at 20% in that single entry contest. What are people doing? Come on. We had a whole we did focus on that one. It's like, dude's got like a 43% K rate. What he's 10% better than everybody else, or 7%, 8%. Whatever it is.
I mean, I said I didn't think you needed him. And it turns out you did need him.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously the pitching pool was really, really strong yesterday, so I get it, but it's like it was really weird. I guess people were overreacting to DeGrom getting BABIP on opening day. Let's see. Weather Edge has Detroit's 69-game sample. Is that a nice sample for you? Does that work for you?
It'll work more than anything else. I'm fine with 69s.
Okay,
I'm down for anything, dude. I'm down for anything, Dean. Look how small you are. I mean, the 69 isn't going to work out very well.
Do we at least get appetizers first? 69-game sample as far as Boston and Detroit, a 21% decrease in homers, a 10% decrease in runs. Not a great hitting environment. Turnbull, one of the worst pitchers on the slate. We saw him come back from a Tommy John. We haven't seen him for several years, and he was absolutely putrid in his first game. This Boston team's been hitting pretty well in Fenway. Now they're outside of Fenway in Detroit. It did modify those fences a little bit, but nothing drastic. I think it was like in center field or something. Nothing like they did in Baltimore. They basically made left field, just the ball's just going to die out there. Chicago, San Francisco, 26-game sample. We're not getting a ton of this. There is wind blowing out. Basically dead center, left center at 14 miles per hour. It is 48 degrees. Slight bump in homers, slight decrease in runs. I don't think there's much to read into that. As far as KC and Toronto, 30-game sample, 51 degrees, slight crosswind here, blowing from left field to first base. A decrease in homers of 27% already. Not a great ballpark to hit homers. And then Coors, we got a 50-game sample here, and it's kind of a mixed bag, right? A slight bump in runs, 5.8%, and a slight decrease in homers at 11%. And the misconception always about Coors is like it's an amazing home run ballpark. It's a really good home run ballpark, but it's really like it's where it's best is like singles, doubles, and triples. All right, so we got that out of the way. One game not like the other. Pitchers certainly not like the others as well too. Which, man, it's going to be hard not to play Kevin Gausman. We'll talk about that. You want to talk about that? You want to transition the pitchers? Kevin Gausman.
I think pitchers is pretty straightforward on the slate. It's a 4-game slate, right? You only got 8 pitchers. I mean, obviously, Gray and Freeland are both pitching in Colorado, and they're not even good pitchers. So, like, okay. Lyles is facing the Blue Jays, and he's not a great pitcher. Alex Wood is not, like, the highest ceiling pitcher, but, I mean, he's, like, acceptable against the White Sox. And the same thing for Turnbull. Turnbull is, like how many strikeouts does he get? Like he's not a high.
What's his over under 3.5? What's his number right now?
I got his under 4 on Prize Picks.
Oh, at worst you're tying. I feel really good about that.
Right. I got the Prize Picks play of the day currently for the bat. Remember, these aren't my plays. It's just that I look at the bat projections and I just compute what would be plus EV is. It's not on this slate. It's in the night game. That's Dustin May under 5 strikeouts. So really, take Dustin May under 5 strikeouts on Prize Picks. It's also available on Underdog. I suggest here's a little thing. Anytime that it's an even number, and you're gonna be playing 2 picks, which means you're not gonna be you're only gonna be parlaying. You're only gonna be making whatever you want to call it, a card, a square, whatever they want you to call it. Always do it on Prize Picks versus on Underdog. So, like, for instance, like I also have like Alex Wood under 5 Ks, right? I have Alex Wood under 5 Ks. I also have Josiah Gray under 4.5 Ks. Now, 4.5 you can't tie, right? 4.5 you can't push, right? Yeah. So there's gonna be a winner because the rules of these sites of Prize Picks and Underdog. This is not the regular sports books, right? But when you have to build at least 2 together. On Prize Picks, if you get a push, it doesn't count as a void, which means that it'll just revert to like if you have like 5, it'll revert to a 4 pick, right? It'll just count as a push, just like you would normally expect. Now on 2 picks, because of the laws, the regulations, technically these sites aren't sports betting sites; they're daily fantasy sites, which
becomes a wash,
right? Whatever. So. On what Prize Picks does is that if I take, let's say, Dustin May, under 5, and then Josiah Gray under 4.5, and I win the Justin, Gray, I win that one. If May ties and pushes with 5 on Prize Picks, it will give, like, if I put down $10, they'll give me 15, right? So they'll basically say, give me half of whatever that, it won't void the whole thing. On Underdog, their rules state that they need to grade a winner or a loser of 2 or more, which means if they can't grade a winner of only 1, the whole thing is refunded. So the whole slate doesn't matter what you could have lost the other one, right? You could have lost the other one, and they'll still give you money. I mean, Josiah Gray throws 9 strikeouts, and I have Gray plus May, and I have $10. They'll just give me the $10 back because May pushed, because they were only able to grade 1 winner or loser for 1. Now, if you were betting, if you were wagering, whatever you want to call it, even EV, if you were just randomly selecting stuff, it wouldn't matter either way. But since the whole goal of making Prize Picks and Underdog stuff is to get positive expected value, the squares that you're selecting, like, you want as many to be graded as possible. So it's like, yes, if one loses, right, you lose on Prize Picks, right? It doesn't matter if the other one was a push. You lose that one. But you should be putting in plus EV1s. You don't want refunds. I don't want to go on Underdog and put like 10 2-picks in and have like 5 of them voided and my money back when I've won like the other 4 of them, because I'm putting in plus. If you were putting in negative E1s, then you do want your money back, right? You're like, thank God I got my money back. So, like,
get me out of this bad bet.
Right. So if you have the same number on both sites and you could build the same exact 2 picks on both sites, assuming you're doing plus EV1s, that's why I use the bat for projections. You want to do them on Prize Picks and not on Underdog. On Underdog, you want to do the 3 picks, because 3 picks on Underdog pay 6x, while 3-pick powers on Prize Picks pay 5. So basically, Prize Picks, 3 picks, don't even bother. Like, on Prize Picks, you either want to do 2 picks or you want to do 5-pick flexes. And on Underdog, you want to primarily do 3 picks, right? Because 3 picks pay 6 and pay more than Prize Picks with the same numbers. So there you go. There's a little 4-minute explainer on where to eke out some more profitability.
Hey man, that's what we're all about, is grinding away. Kevin Gausman, the clear best pitcher, I think, in my opinion, of this slate. Last year, highest K rate. Last year, lowest Sierra. Last year, lowest walk rate. He's facing a Kansas City team. It's top loaded. The back is pretty rough. They've been shut out in half their games so far this year. You can only say that. That's probably the only time you can say that this season. We'll see. 3 of 6 games. How do you not play Kevin Gausman? Or you're just going to like embrace it?
Click on him, Dean. That's how you don't play him.
Okay, but then you got to click on 2 other players not named Kevin Gausman.
Oh, that's the problem. So it has nothing to do with. It's easy to not play Kevin Gausman. It's just that how do you play Jordan Lyles, right? Like, how do you do that?
You don't play Jordan Lyles. You just don't do it. I mean, I'm happy to get ugly. I'm much happier to get ugly with my sticks than with my arms. Give me the arms that are more reliable. And if you want to get completely goofy with arms, I'll take one of the Coors guys over Jordan Lyles, Duck. And again, I don't know if I'm going to roster any of them. I'm probably just going to stick to Gausman, Lynn, Wood. What am I? I'm going to be lower in the field.
Hey, what are you missing Chris Sale for?
I'm lower on the field than Chris. So, like, okay, Chris Sale was
the Tigers, Dean. The Tigers.
He still has to throw baseballs, and like we haven't seen him do that successfully in a long time. The most interesting thing he's done is like
successfully. It's the Tigers, Dean.
Something's got to give, right? That's the argument, right? It's the Tigers. The Tigers are terrible.
They're leading off Matt Vierling. They have Spencer Torkelson as their cleanup hitter, and a creative player named Ryan Creedler is batting 9th. So I mean, like, and then you have like Baez, Haas, Scope, Rogers. These guys have like 30 plus 35% strikeout rates. right?
There's some power there, though. There's a little bit of power. I think I can't believe I have to tell you on a 4-game slate that like Detroit is an interesting stack.
Oh no,
like,
I agree. The leverage play, the leverage on a 4-game slate is to basically like if you want to stack against if you want to stack the Royals or the Tigers or I mean who else? Or I mean maybe the Giants, but I think Lynn's ownership will be a little bit lower than Sale and Gausman. But yeah, like Tigers and Royals would be the on a 4. Remember, it's a 4-game slate. Like you got to get now. We're starting to talk about funky stuff. Now
you can get funky, you can get goofy, you can roster a hitter against your pitcher. You can roster.
Yeah, you could hit a one off. You could do that. But I agree with you, Dean. I'm much more inclined to kind of eat the chalk pitching. Eat one of the chalk pitchers, right? Right. Maybe even like if you play both, like to me, here's the lineups not to build, right? I talk about on the DFS pregame show. Most of what MLB DFS is to just don't play the highest owned lineups and don't play the lowest projected lineups. Like anywhere in between, you're fine. So whatever mix you want to do, just like yesterday, you could have built a Rays stack, but don't play the other chalk players around them. You could have, if you didn't play a Rays stack, you could play the chalk pitchers and everything around them. You could do whatever. Don't build a lineup that's Gausman, Sale, Rockies, or Gausman, Sale. Basically Gausman, Sale, Coors. And then the secondary one is Toronto, because I think Toronto pieces are going to be chalky also. So, like, if you want to do Sale, Gausman, White Sox, or Giants, Sale, Gausman, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you wouldn't be able to play Tigers. You could play the Red Sox, I guess, against Turnbull. So, like, that would be doable.
Yeah.
But if you want to play core, if you want to play Core's bats, I think, like, if you're going to play a 5-man core stack, I think playing a 3-man stack against Sale and against Gausman would be the better leverage choice, which means you're going to play a 5-man Rocky stack, or you're going to play a 5-man Nat stack, or you can play a 5-man Blue Jay stack. Fine, chalky stacks. And then instead of playing Gausman and Sale, you play a Turnbull or a Wood or a Lynn or Lyles or whoever the hell you want to play. And then take 3 Royals, then take 3 Tigers on whichever one of Sale or Gausman that you don't play, because then you don't have 5 of them, so it's like 3 guys could get there. Like dude, Sale could fail, Gausman failing may be him only scoring 12 points. Doesn't mean he gets blown up or anything.
That also might be good enough, just for the record.
And true, it also might be good enough.
Yeah.
But if he let's say he gives up 4 runs on 7 strikeouts or something, well, it's quite possible that, Vinny Pasquantino has a home run. Like maybe he's given up. 3 guys get there. Sal Perez and Michael Massey, gets there. And like maybe 3 guys are good enough for this slate. And because the points are coming, Gausman's going to be like 70% owned. So like do that, but maybe not the 5. Like if you don't want to go super leverage and go, I'm going to just play a 5-man Royal stack. It's like, okay, 2-man, do the Dean, do the 40, 4, 2, 1, 1, 4, 3.
You can do that today. I know you're besmirching, but
no, you can't. No, it's much more likely to do that today. Yes, on a 4-game slate. Like only because there's only so many ways you could fit 5-man stacks around, right? 5-3. There's only so many combinations of those that unless you're really getting off the board, you're liable to combinatorically duplicate a lot of lineups that you're competing against.
Ownership, by the way, just gotta mention this. Gausman, you referenced 70%. It might get there. 64% currently on DK, and that's again, we reiterate, that's the ownership projection for a large field GPP, multi-entry GPP. For your single entry stuff, like it's going to be, I don't know, 90. In the 121, what is Gausman going to be? 90%, right? Maybe higher, maybe a little bit lower, but somewhere around 90, 85. Is that fair?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like in the 121, he could be like 90% owned.
Yeah. Chris Sale at 46%, Lance Lynn at 45%. Alex Wood, this is his first start of the season. I believe he's pretty much stretched out as much as Alex Wood could be stretched out. 17%. that's kind of where the gap is. The gap's probably actually after Lynn and Sale. I think the tiers. Gausman, tier on his own. You could argue that Lynn and Sale are in the same tier, the next one, and then Wood's probably in the next one, and then the next one is just, well, I guess I have Freeland ahead of Turnbull, and I mean, it's all a mess. I don't know how much I want to mess with any of that stuff. I'm not playing Turnbull, and I'm not playing Lyles. I might play Freeland. I probably won't play Gray, but like,
I think Gray has more upside than Freeland, though. Like, Gray could strike people out at least. Like, Freeland really doesn't do that.
But Freeland's a guy that can go like 6 and change, and he could do that.
Scored 9 points, Dean. I mean, what the hell? Who cares? I don't mind. Gray could give up 4 runs and still strike out 8 guys. I mean, like, he can do. I'm not saying he will, right? But I mean, he has a little bit more ability to do that. So like I'd rather rely on that. I mean, even Lyles could strike out people also. So like, I'm not opposed to playing Jordan Lyles.
I'm not going to. I'm only making so many lineups. I don't know how many lineups you making today.
I got my 2 triple up style lineups and my 3 GPP lineups. 121 and 2 kind of larger field. So like the thing on this slate is that the condensed ownership is even more condensed for the 121. So it's quite possible that my most contrarian lineup, I'm going to play in the 121. What I'm leaning towards is playing like Lynn plus Sale, and then playing like a Royals, like stacking against Gout. Like, all I know in my 121 is that I will be playing batters against one of Sale, Gausman, or Lynn. Like, I'm like, it seems so obvious to do so when like the pitching condensation in that contest is going to be insane. If Gausman has any trouble at all, like, and he's going to be like 85% owned, and like Sale and Lynn are going to be 55-60% owned. Like, I just can't turn down like the relative value of that. And like in my large field lineups, I'm actually more inclined to play the chalk because like Gausman at 60% owned is much different than Gausman at 85% owned. I mean, like it's yes, it's the chalk, but like there's less lineups to gain relative value from.
We have all the lineups out, with the exception of Washington. That's a 4-10 game. Colorado's lineup has dropped. Basically, as expected, Profar leading off, Chris Bryant, Blackman, Crone, the aforementioned Ryan McMahon, who's going to be incredibly owned. He's too cheap. He's a lefty facing Josiah Gray, and second base is just a horrible position. Eliza Diaz, Montero, Jonathan Daza, and Tovar. That's the Colorado lineup. Waiting for Washington, assuming that Lane Thomas leads off. Lane Thomas is like one of the first guys you put in your cash game lineups as well. On the road, leading off in Coors Field, there's no better spot to be positioned. 5 at-bats on layaway, theoretically. The tricky part there, of course, is that Washington lineup's pretty putrid, but they should get 5 at-bats for Thomas there. Hall is also really cheap, too, hitting in the 2-hole. Thomas, 3-3 on
there's
DK.
only one guy. The Nats only have one guy in their lineup that's priced over 4K.
Meneses?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 4 or 5.
Half of them are under 3K. I mean, what is DraftKings doing? This is
both. It was both DK and Fanduel. They both just kind of fell asleep on this one, and I don't know if they're going to correct it. But maybe they're just like, to be fair, they're bad hitters, right? But like, you're supposed to give like the artificial cores bump.
Yeah, they'll bump them up like 10% tomorrow. So like Lane Thomas will be like 3,700.
And like, again, that's the other thing is like, do you want super chalky hitters that are just kind of like average hitters at best? Michael Chavis, is he going to be popular, assuming he cracks that Washington lineup? And ownership might get reflected to some degree based upon when this lineup comes out, but we're projecting him to bat 6. He's essentially a flat-out punt. Candelario, is another guy super cheap on Washington, 3-1 on DK, 2-6 on FanDuel. Salary just, again, doesn't really matter.
Colorado side, this slate, you could leave $4,000 on the table on this slate. I mean, don't
I was gonna ask that.
Like Dean, understand that like someone like I'm looking through. It's like someone like Devers, someone like Tim Anderson, even and Vlad Guerrero, like the very expensive guys. Like you could build anything. I mean, like as one-offs. Yeah. Like Bo Bichette, maybe. I mean, some of these guys may be higher owned only because, like, dude, if you play a national stack, like, you're like your average remaining player salary is like 5,700. So like you could fit like all these guys, but maybe you play that lineup, but then you don't play Vlad Guerrero at first base. You play someone else. You play Vinny Pasquantino or something. And you leave 2,000 on the table or something. Like that's much more viable. That's actually probably more optimal on this slate than on a normal 10+ game slate where you're probably not leaving 4,000 on the table.
Optimal lineups right now, and like LOL optimal lineups for baseball, but just I like to see what they look like. And it's the Coors slate, the Coors game. You got some Colorado guys, you got some Washington guys, and then you have Blue Jays. A lot of Blue Jays. Interesting that like was Devers not really cracking it so much because Devers looks really good against Turnbull. I ran 100 optimals. He filled in 12% of those lineups. Candelario 41%. Again, the punt there for Washington as far as third base. It's really easy to get different. And like, if it plays out the way it's supposed to play out, then you just take the L and you move on. But it certainly does seem like an opportunity to, if you just get on one of these teams that are uncomfortable, and even Boston, like Boston feels like a team that's like in a good spot. The ballpark's not spectacular, but whatever. But Turnbull looked an absolute disaster. Good for him coming back from Tommy John. It's been a couple of years, but it was not a good start for him. And, there's some playable guys in the Boston side. And you're also locked in for 9 on the road. So that's a bit of a bump. That's one positive as far as being away from Fenway. If you're up 12-2, you at home, you don't get your last licks. You don't get the 9th inning. But on the road, you're guaranteed that 9th inning. And not only that, if it is 12-2, you're possibly getting like the shortstop on the mound, which is always fun. Fanduel, by the way, I should mention as far as the ownership over there, did mention the DK ownerships. Fanduel, Gausman getting 40%. Obviously, you only roster one pitcher here. 23% for Lynn, 20 for Sale. Wood getting 8%, and the rest of the guys getting like 3% or less. DNA or John, a question in the chat. Several people were asking about this. Talk about the Giants. Do we like the top 2%? Let's see. Do you guys like the top 2% for San Fran versus Chicago? Yeah, Lance Lynn, much better against righties historically than he is versus lefties. And there's some lefty power on this San Francisco side. I think that's the best way to get the Lynn. Let me go ahead and pull up the plate IQ. I assume Jock Peterson cracked the lineup, right? Yeah, Conforto as well. Wade leading off. Historically, if a lefty comes in, there's certainly some vulnerability to Wade getting the hook at some point in this game. But, maybe you don't play scared here. Maybe he bangs out a homer in the first, and who cares? But what happens beyond that? What's your thoughts as far as the Giants or even Chicago? I feel like that's the game that's kind of being neglected here.
I mean, compared to the other ones. I ran 100 lineups with 5-man stacks, with some amount of diversity, with bat projections. Number 1 is Nationals. Number 2 are the Rockies. No question about that, right? Number 3, the Blue Jays. Okay, I mean we've already said that. This
super obvious.
Super obvious, Captain Obvious. Then the next is the White Sox. Then the Giants. Then after that, then you start getting some Kansas City and then some Boston. So like, yes, if you're not going to play Coors or not going to primarily play Coors, it doesn't mean you don't have any backs from Coors. Many people will go to Toronto, but I think I'm much more inclined to play the White Sox than the Giants. Especially, and to be clear, I prefer the Giants over, all things being equal, I prefer the Giants over the White Sox. Only because Lynn is going to be way more owned than Wood.
Yeah. And as far as the pinch hit stuff, you just don't care about that?
It's built into the projections, Dean.
Well, the projection, I don't think is way.
Yeah, pinch hit risk with the bat projections are.
Yeah, but as far as the actual projection, though, I don't. I guess that's a Carty question, but
yeah, it's a pinch. No, the plate appearances are nerfed based on the pinch hit risk.
Nerfed it meaning like slightly dinged.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the great thing about the bat projections, Dean. You should go pick them up if you're out there. All people that are watching, give me those thumbs if you're not going to do that. That especially with Carty's bat projections, like everything's in there. Like the weather. Oh, do I have to check the weather? The only reason I have to check the weather is to just see whether or not the game plays. But
Yeah.
where the wind blows out and how the ballpark and the pitcher, the splits, and it's all in. It's literally all in there. So it's like the number, it's already in there. Like I don't care. So I just run lineups and hope for variance to hit on my side. So all I'm doing is running lineups, and I'm like, okay, is Coors too chalky? And I'll have to figure that out. And I'm not saying that I won't have any Coors, but obviously on a 4-game slate, I'm from the looks of it right now, I will probably have Giants. I will probably have a Royal stack against Gausman, which means just because I have a Royal stack against Gausman doesn't mean I don't play Gausman in another line. Like I can play Gausman in another lineup. So remember, I don't play based on what do I think's going to happen. I don't care what's going to happen. I just
that never crosses your mind.
Right, just what outcomes build plus EV lineups. And if one lineup is if Gausman does well, then this lineup does badly. That's fine. I just want one lineup to get to the first. So I don't need it all to be all first, second, third. I don't need that. I just want one of them. So I'll give you 3 outcomes. So I'd most likely I'm going to play a Giant stack, a Royal stack, maybe 4-man, maybe not 5-man, and then I'm not sure. Then maybe Boston, or maybe I find a Rockies lineup that is contrarian enough, or maybe I find a Nationals lineup that's contrarian. As of this point right now at 12:07 p.m. Eastern, as time goes by, I am more and more likely to play Nationals, and that's primarily because the lineup is not out yet, and you will see in amongst the field that without a confirmed starting lineup, people are less and less likely to play those players because maybe you have to swap and change some stuff or whatever. So I'd rather get decreased ownership for that reason than play the Rockies who have the lineup already out. And people are like, okay, I'm going to build my Rockies lineups. And then people are like, well, do I play Chavis or not? Because I'm not sure if he's going to be in. Do I play Ruiz at catcher? Are they going to get a different cat? I mean, you don't know. So, like, I don't mind, especially playing 3 GPP lineups. Dude, I could swap. Right? I have 5 Nats. Oh, I got to change my lineup. Not that big of a deal.
Interesting you mentioned Chavis. Chavis is the guy with the highest pinch hit risk currently in the bat, 49%. We're not sure if he's going to start, but if he does start, there's also a threat of him coming out. That Colorado bullpen, I believe, is just one lefty starter, so almost highly likely a bunch of righties come in later on in the game. Blake Sable, the rookie for San Fran, who looked pretty good in spring and kind of looks like he has a pretty good future. He's been getting pinch hit a lot for as well. If a lefty comes in, maybe he gets the hook, 35%. I did see Lamont Wade at 18% for what it's worth. So there is a threat of him getting pinch hit for. Stone Garrett, which is just an incredible name. I wish he was a better hitter because I want him to stick around for a long time. 23% projected ownership, projected pinch hit risk, assuming he draws the start. This stuff, of course, the closer lock comes, the closer the game arrives, the more information in, the more refined that number gets as far as the bat. And yes, I can agree. Do go ahead and check out the bat. Carty will be on in about 15, 20 minutes or so, as well as TJ Zwarych, the greatest DFS player in all of Saskatchewan, Canada. He's hanging out in chat as well.
You know that? Is that positive? Does he know all the other DFS players?
I mean, you prove it's wrong. How do you prove it's wrong?
You can't. How do I prove that there isn't a teapot? So, orbiting the Earth. I can't do
that. How do you prove you've never been to Idaho?
By just saying I've never been to Idaho.
I don't believe. Well, prove it to me.
Who wants me to prove that?
Just for the sake of the hypothetical, just for the sake of the conversation, prove to me you've never been to Idaho. You can't do it.
No, I can't. You're right. I can't.
Yeah. Have you been to Idaho?
No, I've never been to Idaho.
Oh, I don't.
Wink, wink, wink. You can't prove that I have or haven't. So there you go.
They're asking about pinch hit risk for Kevin Biggio. Looks like it's 8% or so. Yeah.
Oh, you pulled that out fast. I was gonna look at the bat projections. You have it right in front of you.
I got the page up, man. I have the side screen. I got multiple pages. I have multiple tabs. I'm good to go, man. I'm
trying to get my prize picks in because
You're supposed to get him in last night where the numbers are sharper and the numbers are
No,
better.
they don't. They post them. Sometimes they post them late, and sometimes they don't move. Like the Dustin May under 5 still has not moved. So like I'm slamming. I'm slamming.
You didn't sell me that one, by the way. I think May is like.
Why do I have to sell him? I look at the bat projections. I don't have.
I know.
I don't know why. I don't care why.
Yeah, I have not.
Because I was able to figure out why Eduardo Rodriguez was not going to pitch 6 innings.
Well, that was like a lot.
I could use my eyes for that, but I mean, I didn't need the bat projection for that. But the bat like that yesterday, so
I'm kind of a Dustin May truther. I feel like that his Ks are going to jump this year. And again, this is like I know you hate this stuff, but like just watching him pitch, it's like how does this guy not have a higher K rate? Looking at his arsenal, and I think like the swinging strike rate also suggested too. I have not dug into this stuff, as far as May specifically. He's not on this slate, obviously, but just on the fly, thinking 5 seems a little. I don't know, kind of low, but I think the Arizona team is pretty contact heavy. If you check out the plate IQ, it's not in the slate, but now that we're here, now they're having the conversation. Yeah, 19.5% as far as striking out collectively. That's not a very big number. And there's some contact guys in Gurriel, even Walker at just less than 20%. Okay, I mean, I guess I can kind of see it. Outside of Corbin Carroll, uber prospect, and striking out a good bit in his young career, but maybe, I guess. And maybe you just push, like you said, not looking to push, but worst case scenario, theoretically, obviously you can throw 6, but I don't want to bet against Dustin May. I just like Dustin May, but they also kind of baby him too because, the Dodgers care about October and he's got a history of arm issues as well. So maybe you shouldn't push him at any point, or certainly not this early in the year. What else should we talk about here? Blender, TJ in chat, I don't know if you've seen his graphic. He's got the Spidey bombs. Are you aware of the Spidey bombs? He actually communicates. Spider-Man, you might not know this. Besides fighting crime, he has other hobbies. He likes baseball, and he likes to speculate who's going to hit homers. Is all this stuff new to you? Are you aware of any of this? Are you sitting down?
I'm aware of that because remember, when he's on Crunch Time, I got my Venom bombs. I gotta compete. I gotta compete with the Venom bombs. So the Venom bomb model is very easy. It's very. You can even have if you're out there. You can.
Is that in beta or is it?
You can get my Venom bomb. My Venom bomb. Now it's labeled DerekCarty's bat.
Yeah.
And it's labeled by the home run column in that.
Sure. Yes.
But that really it should not say HR in that column. It really should say Jordan Cooper's Venom bombs. And I'm gonna pick CJ Cron.
Well, is he the guy that's most likely to homer today, according to the bat?
That's the one with the highest home run projection in the bat right now.
Yeah. Jock Peterson second. There you go. Shout out to the Jock Jams. And he's certainly one of those guys that I'm okay. Like if it just sort of comes down to it, I'm okay rostering Jock Peterson and Lance Lynn in the same lineup. I'm not necessarily seeking that out, but I'm okay doing that. Vladdy is number 3, by the way. These Blue Jays are pretty popular. Chris Bryant cracking that lineup as well, too, as far as one of the top guys to homer. For the record, by the way.
Also, I got my anti-Venom bomb. It's Jonathan Daza. He has a .03 home run projection in the base, the lowest on the slate. No, Reese McGuire has .03 also.
CJ Abrams .05. He can get it inside the Parker Abrams. He's really fast, and there's that triples alley into. Is it called triples alley in Coors? It's something. Triples alley San Francisco, but there's certainly gaps out there where you can get some triples, and maybe you can turn a triple into a homer. But Whit Merrifield also no revenge homer on layaway according to the bats, 0.05%. He really plummeted.
None. It just says that his home run projection is like around 5%.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure. What could you do in math? 0.05. Look how fast you are.
That means if you could get a home run prop on Merrifield at like 25 to 1 or something, 30 to 1, like
take it.
That would be plus EV.
My guess is you can't. My guess it's probably not. It's probably like 17 to 1 or maybe even worse.
Right? Yeah. You're not going to get good pricing on it.
I was talking to Grant about Grant had his turd bombs last year. I'm not sure if you're aware, but we were talking about homer. The odds on home runs feels like it's a little tighter this year. And also it's cold. Like if you're going to start betting homers, if you're going to pick homers, generally speaking, you want it when it's 100 degrees outside, not when it's 40 degrees outside. Doesn't mean there can't homer. The guys are still hitting home runs, but it's just not as easy to do it. Now you got my curiosity. I'm curious what the home run prop is, if there is one. There's got to be one, right? For Merrifield, is that what we're looking for?
You say you got, I mean, look at stolen, they got rid of stolen base props pretty quickly.
Yeah, it took a while to figure. Yeah, and like the Syndergaard gave up 2 back-to-back to Carroll and back-to-back pitches, no throws either way. What happens when he actually like gets hit? He was pitching well. He might get out of the league pretty quickly because
People in chat are asking for your dong, Dean.
No, I think it's plural to be clear.
No, he said, "Do we get a midday Dean's dong? Did they want your dong?"
This
is what happens, Dean, when you start talking about 69 during the show, right? People
Whit Merrifield instantly. Whit Merrifield, you can get it at 15-1 on Caesars. There you go. Looks like the best line. And if you want to know where the best lines are, go to Scores and Odds, scoresandodds.com. Sister company, is it? We can call it that, right, Jordan? Is that the appropriate term?
I don't want to have a 69 with my sister. No, I'm sorry. Yes, we are affiliated with them, but it's Scores and Odds. There's no dong in the URL.
Yeah. So you can go to the odds compare. You type somebody's name in, whoever you're interested in, and let's see. You can get on FanDuel, it's 10-1, and on
for what? Whit Merrifield?
Yeah.
Wow, that's horrible.
On Caesars, it's 15-1. If you think he's going to homer, this is why you want to sign up for as many books as possible. Price shopping is important, and some lines are going to be better on FanDuel. Not this one. Do not bet with Merrifield.
We have a screen. We have a screen called. I didn't know I didn't know that was an actual thing. Dean's Dong.
Yes. Oh yeah, this is a thing. Thanks for supporting the show. It came up a couple days ago. Producer Steve, I believe, made that for us, and I'll have to come up with a few on the fly. I think I was over
like a baseball's coming out of your ear. It seems like you're having an ear problem. You need some medication for that.
Yeah, I got an ear.
Burning, fiery baseballs are coming out of your ear. Go get checked out.
It sounds like the disclaimer you hear on one of those commercials, as one of the possible side effects of whatever medication they're trying to get me to take.
And apparently, you also have a milk mustache. Were you drinking milk? Or
something? That's not milk. That is.
I know. I'm joking. I know you're. I don't get that either. When you had that mustache, did your dong match that as well? Did you make sure that the drapes and the sheet, whatever the drapes and the sheets matched, or whatever you call it?
No, it's the weirdest thing. Like only my facial hair comes in gray. Like somebody thought like I was dyeing my hair, and I'm like, no, this is just the way my and I have some gray in my hair, but like my facial hair is like straight gray. It's really weird. You see, it's gross. And then Grant, shout out to Grant if you had the over, and Grant mentions if 1.5 was a line, hope you smash the over, because that's 3 times you said his name. Grant, just in case you weren't listening. He for his wedding, he asked me to give him a terrible mustache. Well, I mean, in addition to like a gift, I gave him the terrible. He asked me to show up in a terrible mustache.
He asked you for a mustache ride? What?
No, you're adding the ride part.
That's all I heard. That's what I heard. You offered him your mustache, and I just assumed.
This show is off the rails. This is what happens when you put us on for an hour and it's a 4-gamer. These are the things that we're talking about. But yeah, it was gross, and I got some looks, and most people they weren't aware of like it was like a bit, and like how do you wear a disgusting mustache ironically without telling people you're wearing it ironically? How do you tell people that? Like you don't, you know what I mean? Like how do you get that point across? You don't bring it up casually, just so you know before you walk away and think I'm all creepy. This is a bit. This is just a shtick. How do you do that? I don't know. Yeah, so
you wear a T-shirt that says this is a bit.
Well, no, you got. I was wearing a dress shirt. I mean, you don't get a dress shirt.
Put a tag on. Put a tag, some sticker or something.
It taints the whole. I was in a suit. I think I was like the only person in a suit at the wedding. Actually, it was very casual. I overdressed. Oh, so some guys that are going to homer today. Let's do that. Let's throw out 3 homers. What do these sandwiches do, guys?
More venom bombs.
Well, let's see. Who's the second guy that's on Carty's list to homer? And let's repackage it.
You mentioned Jock Peterson.
Was he second? That feels like it's kind of like cheating. Okay.
Well, Acuna was second, but Acuna's not on the slate.
Yeah, we don't care about him right now because we care about the slate and the slate only, and he's not on the slate for a showdown or something later on. Acuna, it turns out he's good at baseball. If you guys didn't know, this is why you get the bat. Like, oh wow, I wasn't aware of this guy. I guess I should take notice. Michael Conforto I'll tell you, Michael from Conforto, the other lefty power bat on Sam Fran. He's going to homer. Somebody's going to homer off Chris Sale. Javi Baez is going to homer off Chris Sale. And just to tilt you, I feel like, and I'm not like Team BBP, but like Matt Chapman, 4 or 5 homers against Jordan Lyles and 20 at-bats. Like just pure math says he's going to do it again today.
No, pure math means the opposite. That doesn't mean it. Don't say that. Don't say pure math unless you're saying it. Unless it's like the mustache. You're saying pure math as ironically.
I'm saying I was saying it ironically without actually saying it ironically. We have Kirkwood in chat.
I don't trust Dean's ear-infected baseballs over there. I don't trust those.
Did I tell you that Kirkwood has got some beef with you? Like he was opening day. It was myself and yourself, and he was supposed to be in the show, but he was having an issue with speaking. I believe he had a reaction, and he was upset. He was mad at you that you wear not watching sports as a badge of honor. Like this is your profession to talk sports, and you don't even watch. And the only sport you watch is wrestling.
Profession. My profession is to make money in sports performance markets.
Is that what you put in your tax return?
No, I put on the web developer because I don't want to get into trouble.
Web developer?
Well, that's what I want. Digital marketing, web development. That's my normal industry.
I didn't know you had the background in that. I wasn't aware of that.
Yes.
Yeah, so Kirkwood's and the only real sport, or the only actual sport.
No, so Kirkwood had a problem. I thought you said Grant had a problem with me.
No, Kirkwood. And he was upset.
Grant
he wanted to be on the show
with anyone. That's why I'm like, Grant has a beef with someone.
Nah, he's fine.
Grant's beef would be, Grant. You could have the worst sports take ever, and Grant would have no problem with that. You say you like a cereal or something that's disgusting, that he finds disgusting, or some type of pizza topping. Like he will come with an AK-47, whatever, and he's going to be a domestic terrorist when it comes to that stuff. You say that you put pineapple on pizza or something. You better lock your doors or whatever.
People are so passionate about that one. Am I okay just saying it's fine? Like it's fine. Okay.
I guarantee you, we could have a show every day of Grant going through fast food menus and breaking down like for 3 hours on like the perfect meal from Taco Bell or something.
He will. By the way, when I was with him, I left him some things when I was staying at his house for a little. I probably spent a little more time than I should have, but I was dog sitting for the most part. But then I just kind of overstayed my welcome. But I left him like 15 different like $5 or $10 individual Taco Bell gift cards. Not one that has $100. I was in like Costco and I just thought it would be funny to buy like 15 different $5 or $10 ones. So I don't know if he's used them since. He's probably he probably hasn't knocked them out just yet. I'm sure he can definitely tell you his go-to Taco Bell order for sure. But I get the occasional text I get from Grant is like him telling me how awesome some terrible movie is. And that's just what he'll text me every once in a while. Like I can go through my text and that's exactly what's going to be. Pineapple and jalapeno is delicious. No, jalapeno and pineapple. Come on. I don't want to get passionate. I don't want to derail the conversation, but jalapenos, first of all, I'm out, Blender. I'm out. Deal breaker for me. I'm heat sensitive. I can't eat it. I'm sure they're fantastic if you can take on the heat, but pineapple is like ham. That's like peanut butter and jelly, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
On what? I'm fine with pineapple in and of themselves. I don't see why pineapple needs to be anywhere close to mozzarella cheese and tomato sauce. That doesn't make any sense.
But if you're gonna get pineapple, it's like assumed. It's like when you say like Meyer's coming next. When you're talking about pizza topping, pineapple. Oh, ham's coming next, right? Like it's a combination.
Any meat on pizza is fine. If you want to,
I'm saying the combination. They're married. It's a package deal. If you want pineapple,
ham and pineapple.
I'm the pizza maker. I'm already in my head putting ham on the pizza.
No. Hold on, Dean. If you were gonna hold on, if I were to just go to my refrigerator or whatever, and I said I'm gonna make myself a ham sandwich, right? Sure. So I get the bread, I get the ham, I get the lettuce, right? I'm making a ham sandwich. I've never felt like, oh, obviously on a ham sandwich, I'm going to put a slice of pineapple in the ham sandwich. So if I'm not going to do that, why the hell am I putting it on a pizza?
A sandwich is not a pizza.
What? You say that ham and pineapple go together. But obviously, but what other walk of life does ham and pineapple come together at all.
None. That's the point I was making. It's like if I'm the pizza maker and somebody says, just make sure we got a pineapple on that one. I just assume ham's on layaway because it's a package deal like 90% of the time. Every once in a while you get the curveball, the jalapenos, I suppose, or like pineapples a la carte. But generally speaking, it's a Hawaiian pizza. You've heard this term before, I'm sure. I'm not enlightening you.
Have you been to Hawaii? They don't make those pizzas. So.
Prove to me I've not been to Hawaii.
I've been to Hawaii. I've not seen the natives eating ham and pineapple.
Well, it's a lie, but that's what the branding is. I mean, you can you're in Kentucky right now. I guarantee you there's a store that says New York style pizza because it's a brand, right? Just the term New York style pizza.
At least they put the word style.
Well,
right?
Whatever.
Like
New
New
York pizza
for New York pizza. They should say Hawaii fake Hawaiian style toppings like that. Truth and admin.
We need TJ to jump in here. He's going to put
spent 8 minutes and haven't talked anything about baseball because it's a 4-game slate and we kind of covered everything.
We did kind of cover everything. And by the way, any questions you have in chat, by all means, fire them off. Happy to answer them. I feel like we kind of like ran it up and down. Now just in the chat, Roth, let Roth in. If Roth is knocking on the door because he's giving some takes, he feels like he's fired up. Roth, what is your pizza take you want to get out to the world?
Your food takes are terrible. Jesus.
It's not even a take.
It is. The whole thing. You're like, why would you put pineapple with ham? Because ham is salty and pineapple is sweet, and they go together. Just like the spiciness of a jalapeno goes with the sweetness. There are flavors, and you want to put the flavors together, Dean. Cheese.
Dean, have you ever seen Ratatouille, where the rat takes a piece of cheese and a strawberry and puts them together? And it's like this beautiful. It's that.
This is what you do.
You get food and rat.
You get fatty, salty, acid, sweet. You put it together. That's how you make food.
You're coming at the wrong guy. Blender's the one that was.
Blender.
I wasn't besmirching. He was besmirching.
The only way that your opinion is valid is if you can answer this question.
Okay.
Would you ever consider, or have you ever, put both ketchup and mustard on a hot dog?
I would have no problem with that.
Okay, then you're canceled.
I have no problem.
And people do put both of them.
And
ketchup on a hot dog is egregious. It should be mustard, but you've
already got us flagged like 6 times for the inappropriate shit you've said on the show, and now your food takes are going to get us flagged a 7th time. This is ridiculous. Good Lord.
Roth, do I get an apology, by the way? You came right at me.
I'm sorry.
Right,
I was just getting worked up. I didn't know who was bringing these terrible takes.
To be fair, Dean usually has the really bad food takes.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. So I'm the likely target. I was minus 1,000 to be the one that had the worst take, but it happened to be Blender this time. TJ, feel free to. Do you guys have Hawaiian pizza up there in Canada? Has it made its way up there?
Yes, it has. We have basically all the same things here that you have in the States. And I've even been to Idaho before.
Oh, can you prove it?
There's lots of witnesses. At least 30 friends and or family have seen it before. I played on
30 friends?
Oh yeah, I got lots of friends.
In Idaho?
I got we were all from Saskatchewan, and we were driving from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, where I am in fact the best DFS player, Blender. And I played on a basketball team and then coached a basketball team that went from that drove from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan to Spokane, Washington to play the tournament in Gonzaga. So we drove through Idaho.
Well, wait, that doesn't make any sense, does it? Oh yeah, I guess Idaho's right. Yeah, okay. I was thinking you're a little bit more west. I was not a major in geography, but you got a little piece Idaho, right? The top bar, I suppose. Right?
Yeah, we went to a tournament there as well in Liberty Lake, so that's kind of why.
There you go. All right.
The question is when you were in Idaho, what did you put on your baked potato?
I don't think I ate a baked potato in Idaho.
In Idaho, how do you not eat potatoes in Idaho?
They're fresh.
That's like their one thing. Potatoes.
What's their second thing? Is anybody in Idaho?
My one thing while I was there was playing basketball, so I don't know.
We got any Idaho people out here in chat?
No, of course not.
Idaho is known for the first thing is potatoes. The second thing is militias, I guess.
Yeah.
And third is not having people, apparently. We got multiple bombs on layaway, though. We got a Spidey bomb. We got a surprise bomb returning from last year. Steve's got a nice graphic ready. We'll drop the first one at 75 likes, second at 100, third at 125 because Classic Dean didn't get the likes up during the show.
Kirkwood saying Idaho's known for potatoes and wrestling. Can you, as a resident wrestling expert, Blender, can you confirm that?
I mean, I'm assuming there's an indie wrestling scene there in the. I mean, it's part of the Pacific Northwest, wherever Spokane, Seattle, Portland. That probably mixes in somewhere. But no, I'm not an aficionado of the Coeur d'Alene or Boise, the local pro wrestling scenes. No.
Right, they have a blue football field. That's their second thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
They got that.
Oh, it's illegal. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely. It's cheating. Like the players blend in. You wear blue uniforms on a blue field. And it's like, well, where did number 82 go? Oh, he's in the end zone because nobody saw him get there. It's so illegal what they do in Boise. Really, it's outrageous. If you look at their home road record, it spells it out. Yeah, don't get me started on Boise's home field. It really is flat out cheating. I'm not sure if that's in the blitz, Carty, but it should be. I don't know if you do that for college. You probably don't. Too many teams to follow. But if you did, you'd have to certainly carry the one for the home field for Boise. Blender, we got anything else for the Boise before we step aside and get out of here? They have 40 minutes. Y'all, trust me, we burned a few minutes for you. You're welcome because you got 40 minutes to talk about the 4-gamer. Enjoy it.
I'm going to say the last thing I'll reiterate because Carty would probably point it out. I'll steal his thunder on the Crunch Time show. Dustin May, under 5 strikeouts.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you hate Dustin May? Have you seen? He looks electric. I know the numbers
always look electric, and he never strikes anybody out, Dean.
Why is that? What's the story? Have you ever dug into that? I feel like he's due for some positive regression. Just like watching him pitch and the eye test, whatever. And his arsenal looks spectacular. I know you probably weren't prepared to talk about Dustin May, but
no, I mean Dustin May's a good pitcher, but he's not a big strikeout guy. I don't know why at the moment, but when the bat stuff is done, I can tell you. But I mean, it's a low strikeout Arizona offense. The line's too high.
All right, fair enough. Myself and Blender, we're going to step aside and get out of here. Blender is going to make himself a ketchup and mustard hot dog. I will see. Oh, we're going to yield.
I'm going to put ketchup and mustard on my ham and pineapple sandwich.
Wait, a hot dog's a sandwich now? All right, myself and Blender. Roth, take it away.
Thank you. Good stuff. Good stuff as always. Welcome to what might be our last YouTube show of the year after Blender broke every rule in the book there. Hey, this is Crunch Time. It is sponsored by Fanduel. That's why this show is free. All we ask is not your money. We don't want your money. We want your thumbs ups. We want your likes. So make sure you're hitting that. We'll take your money too. Make sure that you're subscribing to all the great content we have here at RotoGrinders. Make sure you sign up for the Blitz as well. It is widely respected as the very greatest projection system in the universe. Is that correct, Mr. DerekCarty?
It is. At least tied with, the Blitz, which you just said, is probably tied with the Bat as the best projection system.
Oh, that's shit. My bad. I didn't mean the Bats. Yeah, if you sign up for the Blitz now, you can do that probably, but it doesn't get much for you. You want the Bat is what you want right now. And what I want to do is read my promo, which I didn't have open because I'm a schleb. Hey, we got DerekCarty joining us. Carty, how you feeling about this slate, bud?
It's a 4-game slate on a Thursday afternoon. It's not the best slate we're going to have all year, but we're here to talk about it.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been a 4-game slate, right? It was supposed to be a larger slate than that. And we had 4 games postponed.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this slate, like most things I feel like the cash approach is obvious. And I feel like in GPPs, everything's going to be like more or less efficiently owned. So I do feel like this is a particularly difficult slate for GPPs, but I'm curious what TJ thinks.
Very good. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because we do have what some would consider to be a GPP master who is just half asleep over there. There he is. There's my guy. We got TJ.
My phone was buzzing. I was seeing if there was any baseball updates.
You look like that Zion when he was falling asleep at the basketball game there. We got TJ coming in hot with some GPP takes. TJ, how you feeling about this slate?
Feeling good. I'm fresh off of a promotion at my position at the Bat X Enterprises. I am now the chairman of Spidey Bombs. I am the director of fun at the Bat X Enterprises now.
It's important.
So yeah, really good stuff. We've already hit 75 likes. That means we're ready for the first Spidey bomb. At 100, we can get the surprise bomb number 2. So to start the slate off here,
wait.
Matt Chat.
Wait, I want to see the Spidey Bomb graphic. We got to build.
Oh, yeah. Let's get this up.
Yeah.
Sorry, Steve. I should have given you more anticipation. The people are ready to hit the like button today.
Yeah, I think if they see that Spidey Bomb graphic, they're going to hit even more likes. We're going to get to over 100. Then you can get your second Spidey Bomb. It's so good. It's so good. TJ, take it away. First Spidey Bomb of the day.
This one, Spidey liked it. He's in a great spot. We love the Blue Jays today. And then I had to give this one first, specifically just the Spike Carty, because not only are the numbers good, but the BVP truthers are going to go alongside of it. So Matt Chapman is going to hit a home run today for the Blue Jays.
Carty, the BVP go boom. What say you?
You know how I feel about BVP. I hate it. It is a good spot for the Jays today. It's not like I dislike this by any means. I just don't like it because of BVP.
That's fair. Yeah, you can like it for other reasons. And the BVP, if you care to consider it, is an added bonus. If you don't consider it, and Carty, you just completely ignore it, right? You do not consider it a factor.
Zero BVP at all.
I love that. I love how how strongly you stick to the things that you feel like. You care about
They're not things that I feel, Roth. They're things that are scientifically proven.
Okay. My bad. My apologies.
Carty's a big gravity guy. He thinks it's real, and we're just gonna
fan of gravity. Gravity's proven too.
Yeah. We're just gonna allow him to think it's real, but we know that we don't have to necessarily abide to gravity if we don't want to.
It's just what you believe in. All right. Hey, I'm going to do my read here because this show is sponsored by Fanduel, as we mentioned. Make sure you're signing up for that Fanduel Sportsbook. If you're in a legal sports betting state, take advantage of their awesome bonus offer. New customers get the old no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's a band, as the kids say. Terms and conditions apply. Offer not available in Massachusetts because if you're in Massachusetts, you get the offer of bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets. Great stuff going on with FanDuel. And now we get to talk weather. My job, I thought, was going to be very hard today. And then they just made it very, very easy on me. The only game with rain remaining is in Atlanta. And the forecast there is just pop-up spotty showers, maybe an isolated storm. Coverage is 30%. Could there be a delay? Sure. There's about a 30% chance that there could be a delay. And it would likely be short-lived if it happens. So you probably don't do anything. Carty, is there pitchers that we want there? Is it even on this slate?
Atlanta's the night game, yeah. So
nobody cares. So I'm talking about things nobody cares about.
Yeah. I mean, they'll care tonight, but for now.
Yeah.
Anything you say, Roth, I care about.
Thank you. Me talking about things most people don't care about is par for the course.
And then all these games are all 50 degrees. So it's not even like there's performance-based weather that's going to make a big difference here either.
Yep. The games are similar temperature. None of them have really exciting winds. I think there was maybe one game where winds were blowing out here. I think
the White Sox game has
that's it.
16 miles to left, I see.
That's the one. Yeah, I've got left center around 15. So we are essentially in the same there. With the weather out, by the way, the New York game, I think you've got literally a 3-hour, the New York game, which is postponed to the Yankee game. I'm sorry, the Mets game. I think you've got a 3-hour window from when the game was supposed to start before there's any rain. So I'm just throwing that out there that that game probably shouldn't have been postponed, but it is. And so whatever. Hey, let's talk about the slate. DerekCarty, we're going to start off with you. Tell me what you like, or at least what you don't hate.
Yeah, so there's a couple of good pitchers on this slate, and then it falls off very, very quickly. Your top 3 are Gausman, Sale, and Lance Lynn, and I think I like them in that order if price weren't a thing. But obviously price is a thing, especially on FanDuel where you can only play one. Sale is the cheapest of the 3 and is basically tied as the best one with Gausman. I don't think you have to pay an extra $2K for Gausman on FanDuel. I think you can play Sale. I know he struggled in his first start and people are worried about him and whatever, but he's in Detroit. It's the Tigers. They're bad. They're the most strikeout heavy team on the slate. I have no problem just playing Sale. even though Gaussman does look like he'll be higher owned. So in GPPs on FanDuel, I would be heavier on Sale because Gaussman and Lynn both project for more ownership. On DraftKings, I think you just play Sale and Gaussman. I don't like Lynn quite as much. You can play him if you want, but he's not that much cheaper than Gaussman, and Sale is better and cheaper. And so that's kind of the way I would approach it. And then in GPPs, like everyone else looks efficiently owned. So you're kind of just, I feel like, throwing darts. I don't have a cheap guy or a weird guy that I'm like, yeah, this guy's going to be too low owned and just like play him because you can kind of make that case for any of them.
Okay, very good. Well, then let's kick it to TJ here with pitchers. TJ, do you feel the same? There's basically 3 good pitchers. And if so, are you just going overweight on those 3 guys and letting other people pick the jabronis?
That is exactly it today on FanDuel. Where we're only playing 1, I would even just consider hitting that lock button on Kevin Gaussman, and maybe I'd want to, just in case Chris Sale is pitching like Chris Sale again, racking up the strikeouts against this weak Detroit team, that I'd maybe want to include him in my pool as well. But the price difference between Lynn and Gaussman isn't big enough for me to really care about Lance Lynn on FanDuel all that much, and Kevin Gaussman would be the guy I'd just try and double the field on today. On FanDuel. Then on DraftKings, similar stuff for me today. Like I'm just trying to get various stacks of all these teams on the slates, and I'm not messing around at pitcher. I have like 90% Kevin Gaussman, 50% Lynn, 50% Sale, and then I'm playing 20 lineups today, and I think one of them has Kyle Freeland on DraftKings just because I needed a 7K pitcher, and Washington's going to be chalky.
Okay. Great. Good stuff. Let's kind of flip it over here. Let's talk about the bats. TJ, you can lead us into stack talk, stack chat. What do we got here? You got Toronto with the decent total, Washington.
The biggest thing is we got our first Coors slate of the year, and although the Washington offense isn't anything spectacular, these are 2 bad pitchers pitching in this game with Kyle Freeman and Josiah Gray. So Colorado is kind of like the tier 1 stack.
See that.
Washington and Toronto, to me, I'm kind of viewing similarly today, trying to get to about the same as each of them. Obviously, Washington's in Coors, but they don't have near the same potency in their offense as Toronto does. So those are kind of my tier 2, with Boston very closely behind them. Boston's going to be kind of my favorite tournament stack today. And then, I want to get to some Detroit in tournaments against Sale. I want to get some White Sox. I want to get to a little Giants. And so, I even have one of my 20 lineups has a KC stack. So I'm trying to get at least 1 stack of each of these offenses on this slate. And then, obviously, my main priorities will be Colorado, Toronto, and then Boston and Washington.
Okay. Carty, stack-wise here, I mean, is Colorado just way, way, way ahead of everything else? We mentioned the weather elsewhere, not particularly good for hitting.
Yeah, it's kind of like TJ said. You have this Coors game, and the Blue Jays are in a good spot. They're, according to the bat, basically the 3 best stacks, and kind of the 3 stacks that are going to carry pretty heavy ownership. So of those 3, I think the Nationals are the best and the best point per dollar. And since they're all going to be pretty similarly owned, if I'm going to go heavier on one of the 3, I think it would be the Nationals.
Interesting.
And then I think every other team on the slate is basically the same. A pretty good amount below the others, but it's baseball. And so you can play them, especially on a 4-game slate. But because they're all kind of the same, if I was going to stack a weird team, I would pick one where I'm going to get leverage. So play the Tigers against Sale, play the Royals against Gaussman, maybe the Giants against Lynn. But I think that's kind of the way you approach the non-chalky stuff today, because they're all pretty similarly bad.
Okay. TJ, real quick, GPP wise, if you're sticking with those 3 pitchers and you're doing one of those big 3 stacks, what are you doing to mix it up? Are you doing like bottom of the order stuff?
Most of my lineups either have I have a fair amount of 5-2 lineups today with one off out there, or my 3-man stack that I'm running it with as a secondary stack is somebody off the board like a Detroit against a chalky Chris Sale. Gotcha. In the lineups that have Lance Lynn, or Spidey Bomb number 2, who we're 5 likes away from, And so I'm just going to give it anyways. Hit that like button. We're so close here, people. Jock Peterson going up against Lance Lynn. I love Lance Lynn today, but Jock Peterson, that's the guy that I love to get as a one-off, even if I'm not stacking San Fran. So that's kind of where I'm looking to do as my secondary stack, is still do my 5-man of a somewhat chalky stack and then get different with some one-offs in there. But like, I definitely don't like Boston is my team that I'm kind of getting to as much as these other stacks. And that's a little worrisome because they don't project as well. But like, that's kind of my one in tournaments that I'm taking the biggest stand on. Devers is picking up some ownership, but Yoshida, Verdugo, Cassis, all of these guys I'm looking to get to in quite a few of my lineups today. So Boston is going to be my biggest tournament stand stack. If I am going to the bottom of the order on one of these chalky lineups, my favorite one to do it would be with Washington. Guys like Stone Garrett and Michael Chavis and Victor Robles, I think they have a lot higher of an upside than the Jonathan Dazas and the Ezekiel Tovars. So I'm looking to go for those guys a little bit more, especially because a lot of the guys on these in this Toronto back half, like probably not Kiermaier, but Belt or Biggio, they could end up getting the pull if a lefty ends up in there in the bullpen. So I love a guy like Danny Jansen, but he's going to be somewhat chalky in the Jays back half of the order as well. So instead of messing around with the back halves outside of Washington, I'm just going to different teams.
Gotcha. Okay, very good. Let's go position by position here. We still have doing the math a lot of time, 23 minutes, I think. So Carty, let's start a little catcher talk. And then of course on our sponsor site, Fanduel, it's catcher first base. So you can tell me if you care to play a catcher over there.
Yeah. So in cash, you're going to wind up with a lot of Coors, a lot of Toronto, and a catcher. Those are kind of the top options. Keibert Ruiz is on DraftKings, the cheapest of the 3 catchers from those teams and projects the best by a little bit. Should be hitting in the middle of the lineup, has a platoon advantage against Freeland. Going into Coors, obviously. So I think he's probably the guy you do. But if you want to play Alejandro Kirk against Lyles, you can do that. If you want to play
Kirk is not in the lineup.
Oh, we have a Jays lineup now?
Yeah.
I didn't see one before. Okay, well then not Kirk. Danny Jansen then. Let me refresh my projections real quick. So you can play Danny Jansen. You can play Elias Diaz for Colorado, and that's kind of like all you're doing a catcher, unless you're, I guess, stacking a weird team, and then you can play the catcher from them.
Okay. Quick pause here. Anthony in the chat says thoughts on the Rockies. Carty, the thoughts are they're the best hitting team on the slate, but can you afford them if you're also getting 2 of the 3 good pitchers?
Personally, I like the Nationals better straight up, and they're cheaper and easier to make that work with. Like, yeah, you can make it happen with Rockies if you get a little creative, but personally, I just would prefer to just do the Nats.
Okay, very good. All right, TJ, catcher talk, please. By the way, we're 25 likes away from a surprise Spidey bomb. That would be a 3rd Spidey bomb of the show.
Not Spidey. That's why it's a surprise. It's a new bomb, but we got a new character here ready to make his 2023 debut.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I'm going to go hit the like button just to see the new character. TJ, talk to me about catcher.
Yeah, so it's definitely you're picking Diaz, Ruiz, or Jansen from an optimal standpoint, and it's like Carty said, anybody else is basically just in a stack today. I wouldn't think you're crazy if you want to do a one-off of Perez or Melendez, even if in a tournament you're using Gaussman. It's a small enough slate that I'm okay with that. But then my favorite guy to use kind of as a one-off here would be somebody like Eric Haas going up against Chris Sale.
Okay, very good. Let's go to first base. TJ, take it away.
First base today, it's CJ Cron and Vladimir Guerrero by a mile. Like, these 2 guys are the top 2 at the position. And if I was all right with picking a super chalky player, then for a Spidey bomb, like, these would have been the first 2 guys on the board who are going to be who would have been picked today. Mm-hmm. On FanDuel, Joey Meneses is first base, and I don't mind going to him here. But on DraftKings, Jock Peterson has that first base eligibility too. And of course, he was our second Spidey bomb. So that's somebody that I like quite a bit today. If I need to save salary, I don't mind Michael Chavis, but my favorite guy for tournaments to save salary is going to be Tristan Casas.
Okay, very good. Carty, first base. I saw you nodding in agreement with the guys up on top.
Yeah, I think Vlad's the top guy, but Krona's up there too. In cash, I think you just play Vlad on both sites. I think you can, on FanDuel, where you get that that utility spot, like you can play Crone in that utility if you want. You can play Meneses. You can play Candelario in the Washington lineup for 2.6K. He's really cheap. But otherwise, like there's nothing else to do in cash games. And those guys are good one-offs, even if you're doing a weird stack. But if you're doing a weird stack, you can play, like the Lamont Wade in your stacks against Lynn, Pasquantino in your stacks against Gaussman, that kind of thing. But otherwise, the top guys are pretty obvious.
Okay. Take me to second base, Carty.
Yeah. Second base, far and away, Ryan McMahon. He's 2.9K on FanDuel. He's hitting 5th for Colorado. Second base is always a gross position, but on a 4-game slate, it is particularly gross. Like, not even close. He's your best guy. Like, he's the guy today. Like, if you're not playing him in cash games, you're just terrible at DFS. And that's it. There's other stuff you can do. Like Javi Baez, I think, is a great one-off. Obviously, I like those Detroit stacks to get weird, but even just as a one-off, Javi Baez is just one of the best second basemen on the slate because there's not a lot else, and he's going to have the platoon advantage against Sale. I think Merrifield in your Toronto stacks, obviously, and yeah, I mean it's really gross. Even if you're doing a weird stack, like the second base options in those stacks are probably not even great. So I really think you're probably just playing McMahon or Baez or Merrifield or maybe like Wilmer Flores, anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Maryi Don Yeezy says, hey, any weather edges, any edge to be had weather-wise on the slate? Any wind blowing out? Wind is blowing out, as we mentioned, in Chicago, but it's cold. It's like 50 degrees. Winds are blowing out to left center around 15 miles per hour. It's fine. It's nothing to write home about, I'd say. TJ, second base.
15 likes away from the brand new surprise home run call here. So make sure you hit that like button. If you're watching on YouTube, it's like Carty said, like Ryan McMahon is by far the top guy at this position. If you're playing single entries, he's going to be like 80% owned and higher dollar stuff. So you want to get different, just literally play anyone else at this position. It's a bit outside of McMahon. It's a very different position on FanDuel and DraftKings. On FanDuel, you can play Baez there, and he's a very good position. I think my second favorite is probably Flores or Merrifield. On DraftKings, David VR is a guy I really like getting to at this spot batting cleanup for San Fran. I have a lineup that I land on Michael Massey, Michael Chavis, Jonathan Scope, Panzer Alberto, Elvis Andrus. Like, it's a disgusting position today. So Ryan McMahon is by far and away the best one, especially on DraftKings where you don't have Baez as a secondary option. And then to get different, you just play literally anyone else.
Okay, very good. Take me to third base, TJ.
So this is where Rafael Devers is probably the best play at this position, because you're playing Ryan McMahon at second base. And so Devers is like the high end guy, but he's also pretty expensive. And so Matt Chapman is going to be my highest owned one, with Devers coming in number 2. And this is like, I'm playing a really tight pool here today. I got a little bit of Candelario. I got a little bit of Montero. And, but I'm basically just playing Matt Chapman or Devers in almost all of my lineups today.
All right. Carty, what say you?
The bet likes Candelario every bit as much as Devers today. On DraftKings, he actually projects a hair higher, and he's a lot cheaper. So I think in cash, you're playing Candelario on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I think you can do that too. I don't even think you have to get up to Devers. Like, he's great, but with Candelario and Chapman projecting, they all project basically the same. I don't think you have to play him. In GPPs on FanDuel, Bobby Witt, we'll talk about him at short too, probably better at short. But in those stacks against Gaussman or even as a one-off, I think Witt is really interesting.
Okay. Very good. Take me to shortstop.
So Bo Bichette is going to be our top option here against Lyles. It's a pretty thin shortstop position today. Bichette's kind of like the only like high-end guy, with, I guess, Witt kind of being like a semi-high-end guy, but in a really tough matchup today.
Mm-hmm.
But that makes him more appealing to me because people aren't going to play him as much as they normally would on a 4-game slate because he's against the best pitcher on the slate. So
you're talking Witt right now?
Yeah, Witt.
Yeah.
So I like Witt a lot in GPPs, but I think you're just playing Bichette in cash on DraftKings, and then on FanDuel, you can go down to Jerks and Profar, who's going to be leading off for the Rockies, and he's 2.6K. So if you need to save money, he's definitely a fine option there. And then Javi Baez, who we talked about at second on FanDuel, is shortstop only on DraftKings, and I like him quite a bit in GPPs here too.
Very good. TJ, can we get an update? How many likes away are we from from special guest Bomb?
8 away.
8.
So let's get that one because this is fun. We want to get it in. Steve made a new graphic and everything. Like, do we want to? It would be just frankly rude to not get this out when Steve put in the time to make a new graphic. So let's get these likes up. Let's get this out there.
How does Steve know what ridiculous magical bomb this is that you're talking about?
Steve and I are always cooking things up behind the scenes.
Oh, okay. Some back channels going on here.
Yeah.
Right,
The Slack, the backwoods of Slack in the DM. Steve and I are always sliding in there and cooking up some magic.
He points out that the graphic will get better. It's a rough draft right now, but I want to just see it. So make sure you're hitting that likes. Let's get the 8 likes needed here.
Don't let Steve be modest. It's a rough draft, but I mean, I brought it up to him and he whipped it up literally seconds later. So Steve is so on the ball, and it was while he was producing a show. So
yeah, that's good stuff.
Don't let Steve be modest. He's always on the ball here. 6 likes away. Shortstop position. Yep. I got Bo Bichette in half of my lineups. Like that's just, it's my guy. Like it's a little bit of homer in there, but he's also the best play at the position. Bobby Witt Jr., Javi Baez, probably my second favorite guys there, as well as Tim Anderson is somebody I like getting to today, going up against Alex Wood, a lefty who's not going to strike out a lot of guys. And then from there, it's just people in the stack. I have a little bit of Estrada, a little bit of Hernandez, a little bit of Tovar, a little bit of Abrams, but they're just all in stacks for those teams.
Very good. All right, TJ, take us to the outfield, good sir.
5 likes away. Slide your finger over, hit the like button, press hide chat on your phone, hit the like button. Let's do it, Steve. Let's pull up this graphic here because the Goku Spirit Bomb back for 2023. I got my guy here, my little Goku pop here as well. So, the Goku Spirit Bomb today is going to be another Toronto Blue Jay. It's fitting that the inaugural Goku Spirit Bomb of the year was also the inaugural Spidey Bomb of the year. And while he didn't hit a home run, he did have a double, a walk, 2 RBIs. Dalton Varsho is going to be today's Goku Spirit Bomb. We got 2 Jays, Varsho and Chapman, to go out as well alongside Jock Peterson. It's 4-game slate with Coors, and we're not picking Coors for our Spidey Bomb, so it's tough to narrow them down. That's why we got 2 Blue Jays, but Varsho, Chapman, and Jock Peterson are today's bombs of the day. Now, outfield position. Obviously, Varsho is actually my number 1 outfield guy today. Meneses on DraftKings is outfield eligible, and so I'm getting to a lot of him here as well, as I am Chris Bryant. That's kind of Bryant and Meneses will probably be pretty chalky there as well Charlie Blackmon and Lance Thomas, but they're all great plays. My favorite tournament play here in the outfield is going to be Yoshida for Boston. He's somebody that I'm getting to in a lot of my lineups. Probably he's going to be the guy as alongside Jock Peterson that I'll probably be the most overweight on the field too. And then you got your cheap Washington guys like Call and like Stone Garrett. And my favorite kind of cheapy mid-range guy today is going to be Adam Duvall for the Red Sox.
Just in the chat, pointing out, I think it was producer Steve. Next time you do a Goku Spirit Bomb, you have to yell Kamehameha.
That's a totally different attack. I can't do that.
All right, fine. Okay, then don't.
I would waste my energy. I'll say, everyone, give me your power.
Okay. Here's the question of the day. Does DerekCarty have any idea who Goku is, what show he's from, and could he name another character on the show? Carty.
He's from Dragon Ball Z.
Yes. And can you name another character?
I feel like I know another one.
Let's hear it.
Having trouble coming up with it.
I'll give you time. Don't worry.
I don't know.
If you say go and then just make various sounds afterwards, you'll eventually hit another one.
All right. Good effort. Piccolo was probably who you were thinking of, the green guy, but
I definitely heard of Piccolo.
Yeah, there you go. I figured as much. Okay. I do know that you've heard of the outfield, so let's walk through your favorite outfield place.
It's all the Washington and Colorado and Toronto guys. Lane Thomas is the best on the slate. Alex Call, assuming he's hitting second, is going to be fantastic. Joey Meneses. Then you have your Colorado. You have your Chris Bryant, who's going to be great. You have Profar over on Fanduel. If you're not playing him at short, he's great in the outfield. Varsho for the Blue Jays. That's the pool. You can maybe throw Luis Robert in there, but otherwise, those are your guys. And Victor Robles or Stone Garrett are fine. And then otherwise, get weird with it if you're going to do something. Play those Tigers guys or those KC guys.
Okay, I got a call. Alex Call is going yard. Any interest in Mr. Call?
I like him.
There you go. See, that's my weather bomb of the day because it's in the only game with good weather elevation. Okay. Hey, guess what, guys? We have somehow managed to stretch that whole nonsense so that we're only 8 minutes from lock. That's a good time to start taking some QQs. Anything you guys want to add before I start taking some this guy or this guy's?
No, I'm ready to roll.
No. All right, let's do it. Mark Sanchez says, is Wood stretched out at all? That's an awkward question to ask, but I believe we're talking baseball. Carty?
Get your mind out of the gutter, Roth. Oh my God.
It's
not
early
to get
show.
this show canned, man.
It was Blender. It's Blender's fault. He started it on the wrong foot.
Yes, he is. He threw 94 pitches in his last spring training start. So I think he should probably be fine for whatever you want him for.
Okay, very good. I'm kind of scrolling up here. FanDuel GPP from Mike. It's a small slate. Is this an opportunity to get really funky with it? Both fellas, how do you feel about getting really funky with it? There's no specifics there.
Yeah, I think you either play the chalk or you get really weird. I think that's the right approach.
The funkiest thing that I would do, and I like this idea, is you do not very funky at pitcher. You go Gaussman and Lance Lynn, and then you stack up the Boston side and then with a mini stack from the Detroit side.
Okay. All right. By the way, the nicknames of my picks will from now on be Roth Bomb Cyclones, because that is an actual meteorologic term, and that's really good. The Roth Bomb Cyclone is your boy Call tonight. All right, let's see what other questions we got here. FanDuel GPP. TJ, I'm giving this to you. Meneses and Ruiz or Jansen and Robert Jr. Or maybe it's Robert Jr. I don't know.
The Washington side.
Okay. Got here late. Roth, could you tell me what the Blue Jay homer bomb of the day was? There were two blue homers. Who were they?
Chapman and Varsho.
Very good. Very good. Scrolling up. Are
There was a good one I saw in the YouTube chat that I do want to mention because it'll be relevant for everyone who wasn't here right at the beginning, and that's for each of us just to rank our stacks kind of like one all the way down.
Okay, top three?
Yeah, for me, let's go 5 just because it's such a small slate, and the 3 are it's Washington, Colorado, and
the 3 are
Toronto.
obvious. Yeah, all right.
For me, it's kind of, I think, reverse order of Carty in the top 3. It's Colorado 1, Toronto 2, Washington 3. And then it's going to be Boston 4. And I believe the White Sox are actually my number 5 stack, but it might be Detroit.
Okay. Carty, you got a top 5 for me?
Yeah, Washington, Toronto, Colorado, and then Kansas City and Detroit.
Very good. All right. H-Train says DK Cash, Chris Bryant and Call, or Varsho and Blackman. Carty?
One more time?
It was Chris Bryant and Call versus Varsho Blackman.
The first one.
Very good. Carty, this is a FanDuel GPP question, but you were specifically called out by Jay Sams. How would you rank SFOF? What is that? What is SF? What is SFOF?
San Francisco outfield.
Oh, thank you. I was like small forward outfielder. All right. How would you rank the small forward outfielder Jock Yastrzemski Conforto?
It's probably Jock Conforto Yastrzemski.
Very good. All right. DK Cash, Call or Meneses straight up?
I think it's Call for me.
Woo, buddy. All right. We got 3 minutes until
it's like a tie. They're like the same.
Okay. All right. We got about 3 minutes until lock. If you got questions, get them in. If you don't have questions, I will call the show early. I have no qualms about just being like, I'm not going to sit here silently or make things up.
Who's your favorite Dragon Ball Z character, Rob?
Vegeta. Isn't that a guy?
Yeah.
Yes!
That's a good one. That's Vegeta's. He's tough to not be your favorite. He's pretty awesome. My favorite is Trunks, for what it's worth, because he has a sword.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
Trunks is great.
Yeah. All right. We'll give him a second to get some QQs in. What do we got? Oh, we got the Vegeta Fungo Pop. Very nice.
Should be a Trunks around here somewhere. I don't know where he is, though. Sorry, man.
Yeah, Goku is like the kid favorite. Vegeta, as you get a little more grown up, you become a little bit more of a cynic. You start going to the Vegeta side of things. Here we go. DKGPP, Thomas and Diaz, TJ, or Haas and Call?
I like the Haas and Call side.
Thank you. Jock or Meneses in cash?
Meneses before Jock.
Okay. Can Carty go over his SPs again? I missed the start. I feel like, no, I can't. There were 3, but there was some variation between the 3 that you should probably clear up.
Yeah, I like Gaussman and Sale best. I think on DraftKings, you pair them. I think on FanDuel, you take the discount for Sale. And Lynn's kind of the third, but I don't like him quite as much.
Okay. That was well done. FanDuel GPP, TJ Ruiz or Robles?
Robles.
T. Jackson, Call or Varsho? This is a DK Cash question.
Carty, Call or Varsho?
It's definitely Call. You can play both, but assuming Call is hitting second in that lineup at his price, you kind of have to play him.
All right. We got the Washington lineup in case anyone is curious or interested. TJ, are you seeing this? And are you seeing anything that is like, oh my, stop the presses. Oh my goodness.
Thomas, Call, Candelario, Meneses, Smith, Ruiz, Garcia, Robles, Abrams. So I don't think we expected Dominic Smith to start at against a lefty.
Do we
Who
care?
is he in there for? So Chavis is not in the lineup.
Yeah, no Chavis, and I think it sounded like no Stone Garrett.
No Stone Garrett. No Garrett, no Chavis.
Was Abrams in there?
Abrams is batting 9th.
Yeah, so then that's it.
And then Garcia, I guess, is the other guy, is in at second base today. That's the other unprojected guy.
Okay. Any interest in those guys, Carty?
Yeah, I like Nationals. So, yeah, I don't know what their prices are, but I'd imagine they're cheap like the rest of the team. So, certainly to make your stacks different.
Yeah.
Especially coming in so late, people are not going to have them like the way they would have.
Oh, I like it. Okay. I like it. Makes sense. All right. We got less than a minute until lock here. DK Cash, Carty, Cron, Profar, or Guerrero and Varsho?
Guerrero, Varsho.
Okay. Would Carty rather have current Gunnar Henderson or 10 years ago Derek Jeter?
10 years ago, Derek Jeter. He was what? That was
He
like
old. I think he was.
That was probably like the last year of his career.
Yeah,
I'll take Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah. It's,
you found the case where I'll take a prospect, guys.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? We've hit the lock. That is exciting news. This is something's been happening in these baseball shows that I've been enjoying them, and I don't know why.
Maybe it's because baseball is a great sport, Kevin.
That's not it.
Kevin.
I don't think that's it. No. That's not it. It's because I have wonderful coworkers that I get to work with. So shout out to these guys. Hey, hit that like button because it's good free content. Big thanks to our sponsor FanDuel for getting this content free. We're going to bounce on out of here. I think we're probably coming back later tonight with a basketball show, though I have no idea, to be honest with you. I live my life 1/4 mile at a time.
You were just so excited for this baseball slate. You didn't even think about basketball today.
Didn't even care. I'm just enjoying it too much. We are going to bounce on out of here. For Carty, for TJ, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow or later tonight. You have been crunched.